The penthouse was silent except for the hum of the city outside. Malik opened the door expecting a delivery boy, but the sight before him froze the air in his lungs. There she stood, Aaliyah, her dark curls tied back, holding a pizza box like it was a shield against his stare. His voice cracked as he whispered, "Aaliyah." Her lips trembled, but she forced a faint smile and said, "Guess you didn't expect me, Malik." Memories of teenage laughter, stolen kisses, and heartbreak came crashing like a storm. He had built an empire, filled rooms with glass and gold, yet here was the one thing he never reclaimed. Aaliyah shifted uneasily, her mahogany skin glowing under the hall light, her eyes carrying the same fire he once loved. "It's just a delivery," she muttered, though her hands shook. Malik felt his chest tighten. The years had changed everything and nothing at once. His world, polished and untouchable, now collided with the raw truth of the past. Malik leaned on the doorframe, his heartbeat thundering louder than the city's noise. He said, "Why are you here, Aaliyah?" She met his stare with defiance, though her eyes betrayed fear. "I told you, it's just a delivery." His lips curled bitterly. "After all these years, fate drops you at my door with a pizza box?" Her voice wavered as she replied, "Life doesn't ask permission." The silence pressed heavy, memories clawing at both of them. Malik remembered the night she left without a word, the heartbreak that hardened into ambition. Now his empire felt like glass under her gaze. Aaliyah shifted her weight, her shoulders squared, but her trembling betrayed her. She looked past him into his golden home, yet her tone was sharp. "I don't belong in there, Malik." His chest tightened as he whispered, "You always did." The weight of silence thickened. Malik said, "You left without explanation, Aaliyah." Her chest rose sharply as she snapped, "And you didn't chase me." His eyes burned as he answered, "I built everything you see, hoping to forget you." She laughed bitterly, voice trembling. "And yet here I am standing at your door." He stepped closer, the scent of cologne filling the space. "Every empire I built collapsed in this moment," he whispered. Aaliyah's breath hitched, her grip tightening on the box. Her eyes softened for a second before her voice broke. "Don't make me remember, Malik. I've worked too hard to bury it." His chest tightened, but he reached out instinctively, stopping inches from her hand. Aaliyah pulled back, whispering, "Don't touch me." Malik froze, pain flickering in his eyes. He said softly, "I don't want to hurt you, I just want to understand." She shook her head, curls swaying as her voice cracked. "You can't fix what's broken." Malik stepped back, his voice heavy with regret. "But I never stopped wanting to." Her lips trembled, and she turned slightly, as if ready to flee. Yet she lingered, her eyes locked with his. For a heartbeat, the world outside faded, leaving only their storm. The hallway light flickered, as though mocking their fragile silence. Malik whispered, "Stay, just for a moment." Aaliyah's chest rose sharply, her eyes darting to the elevator at the end of the hall. "I can't," she said, her voice trembling with finality. Malik swallowed hard, stepping back from the threshold. "Then at least tell me why you left that night." Aaliyah's eyes glistened as she answered, "Because loving you meant losing myself." Her words cut like a blade, leaving him breathless. The air between them grew heavy, both bound by pain, too old to heal and too fresh to ignore. Malik sat alone in his vast penthouse, the silence pressing against his chest like a weight. He poured whiskey into a crystal glass, his hand unsteady. The taste burned, but it did not silence the ghost of Aaliyah's eyes. He whispered, "Why now? Why after everything?" The city stretched beyond the glass wall, a kingdom he had built with steel and willpower. Yet none of it eased the ache that roared inside him. He remembered her laughter from years ago, how it carried light even in the darkest corners of his youth. Back then they dreamed of forever, but forever was stolen overnight. He clenched his jaw and stared into the amber swirl of his drink. "I'm still that boy," he muttered. A man surrounded by wealth, yet haunted by love lost too soon. Across the city, Aaliyah sat in her modest apartment, the the sound of traffic leaking through thin walls. She placed the empty pizza bag on the counter and rubbed her tired hands. Her reflection in the cracked mirror revealed eyes heavy with both strength and sorrow. She whispered, "You had to deliver to him tonight, didn't you?" She tried to laugh, but her voice broke. Memories of Malik's touch, his promises came rushing back. She had fought so hard to escape his shadow, to build her own path, but one accidental meeting unraveled her defenses. She sighed deeply and sat on the couch, pulling her knees close. "You're not that girl anymore," she told herself. Though the truth burned, her heart never stopped aching for him. The next morning, Malik met his best friend, Jordan, at a private cafe tucked in the city's corner. Jordan, sharp-eyed and always blunt, leaned back in his chair and said, "So she's back." Malik tried to dismiss it, but his jaw clenched. "She was just delivering food," he muttered, though the lie stung. Jordan smirked knowingly. "You've been chasing ghosts for a decade, Malik. Maybe the ghost decided to chase you." Malik glared, but his chest tightened at the truth. He hated how easily Jordan could read him. The cafe's polished glass reflected Malik's haunted expression. "I built all of this," Malik said, gesturing, "and it still feels empty." Jordan leaned in, voice softer. "Then maybe she's the piece that makes it whole, or the piece that breaks you again." Aaliyah met her younger sister Maya in a neighborhood park. Maya noticed her distracted expression and frowned. "You saw him, didn't you?" Aaliyah sighed, brushing a hand over her curls. "It was just work, Maya." But Maya wasn't convinced. "He broke you once. Don't let him in again." Aaliyah's chest tightened, but her voice was steady. "I'm not the same girl he left behind. I have nothing to offer his world now." Maya took her hand, her eyes fierce with protective love. "You have yourself, and that's enough." Aaliyah forced a small smile, though her heart whispered otherwise. The autumn wind rustled leaves around them, carrying unspoken truths neither could bury. That night, Malik stood alone in his office, skyscrapers glowing like stars beneath him. He pressed a hand against the glass, remembering the young man he once was. His reflection stared back, older and harder. "Why can't I let her go?" he whispered. He thought of Aaliyah's trembling smile, her words echoing in the silence. Every deal, every tower, every victory had been built to bury her absence, yet here she was, alive in his world again. His phone buzzed with unread messages, business demands, but he ignored them. For the first time in years, profit and power felt meaningless. What haunted him wasn't failure, but the possibility that love had slipped through his fingers twice. Malik found himself driving through the old neighborhood, streets filled with echoes of his past. He parked outside the corner store where he and Aaliyah once shared sodas on summer nights. She walked out of the shop carrying groceries, freezing when she saw him. He stepped forward, voice steady but low. "Do you ever think about what we lost?" Aaliyah tightened her grip on the bags. "Every day, Malik, but thinking doesn't fix the pain." Their eyes locked, heavy with years of regret. He whispered, "I would give up everything to have another chance." She shook her head, though her voice betrayed her heart. "Your world and mine don't fit together anymore." Later that night, Malik sat with Jordan again, frustration etched into his face. Jordan leaned forward, voice sharp. "You're chasing her like you're still 20. She doesn't want your empire." Malik slammed his fist on the table. "It's not about money, it's about love." Jordan sighed, shaking his head. "Love doesn't erase the damage, Malik." She walked away once. "What makes you think she won't again?" Malik stared at his untouched drink, silence thick around them. "Because I can't let her go twice," he said, voice breaking. Jordan's eyes softened, but his warning lingered. "Then prepare yourself. Love like this either saves you or destroys you." Aaliyah walked home under streetlights, her phone buzzing. She answered, her voice steady. "Maya, I'm fine." But her sister's worried tone cut through. "You're not fine. You saw him again, didn't you?" Aaliyah stopped on the cracked pavement, chest tight. "I can't avoid him. He's everywhere." Her voice wavered, though her eyes stayed sharp. He makes me feel like I'm still that girl who believed in forever. Maya urged gently, then protect your heart, Aaliyah. Don't let history trap you again. Tears burned Aaliyah's eyes, but she whispered, I don't know if I can. At a charity gala the next evening, Malik spotted Aaliyah working as part of the catering staff. Their eyes met across the glittering ballroom. She looked away quickly, focusing on trays of champagne. He approached, ignoring stares from guests. You don't belong here like this, he murmured. Aaliyah shot him a sharp look. I belong wherever I work. Not everyone has your privilege. The words cut, but Malik's gaze softened. You deserve more than this. Her jaw tightened as she whispered, and you think you're the one who can give it? His silence betrayed the truth. He believed only he could. Later that night, outside the gala, Malik caught up with Aaliyah as she exited into the cold air. He stepped in front of her, desperation in his eyes. Stop running from me. She hugged her coat tighter, breath visible in the chill. I'm not running, Malik. I'm surviving. His voice cracked as he reached for her hand. Let me in, even if it's just for a moment. She pulled back, eyes full of pain. Every time I let you in, I lose myself. I can't risk that again. He stood frozen, her words striking deeper than any wound. Malik's world tilted when a familiar figure appeared at his office unannounced. It was Derek, the cousin who once betrayed him in business and whispered poison into Aaliyah's ear years ago. Malik's fists clenched as Derek smirked. Long time, cousin, he said smoothly. Malik's voice was sharp. You were supposed to disappear. Derek leaned closer, tone cutting. Funny how the past never really leaves, especially when it involves Aaliyah. Malik's chest tightened, fury and dread colliding. Derek's smirk widened, revealing the cruel twist. He had secrets about why Aaliyah left. That evening, Aaliyah sat across from Maya at their kitchen table, her hands trembling as she confessed. Derek came back. Maya froze, anger flashing in her eyes. He's the reason you left Malik. Aaliyah nodded, tears slipping down. He told me Malik betrayed me, that he chose money over us. Her voice cracked. I believed him, Maya. I walked away because I thought Malik sold me out. Maya grabbed her sister's hands tightly. You need to tell Malik the truth now. Don't let Derek destroy you twice. Aaliyah's heart pounded, shame and fear gnawing at her. Malik confronted Derek again at a private club, fury burning in his eyes. You poisoned her against me, he growled. Derek chuckled, sipping his drink. I only told her what she needed to believe. Malik slammed his hand on the table, voice trembling. You stole years from us. Derek leaned in, whispering, and I'll do it again if it means keeping her away. Malik's chest heaved, rage mixing with despair. For the first time, he realized the depth of betrayal wasn't just love lost. It was orchestrated destruction. Meanwhile, Aaliyah walked through the city at night, her thoughts unraveling. She whispered to herself, all these years, I thought Malik betrayed me. The neon lights reflected her tears as she stopped on the bridge they once crossed together. She remembered the night Malik promised her forever, under the same stars. Her chest ached, torn between anger at Derek and guilt for not trusting Malik. The city roared around her, but inside she felt hollow. What if I ruined everything because I believed a lie? She whispered into the cold air. Malik stood in his penthouse, staring at the skyline when Aaliyah arrived unannounced. Her eyes burned with pain as she whispered, I need to know if it's true. Did you betray me for money? Malik froze, his chest heavy with hurt. Is that why you left? You believe Derek's lies? Aaliyah's lips trembled as she nodded. Silence pressed down like thunder. Malik's voice cracked, raw and desperate. I never chose money over you. I lost you because I never knew he poisoned your heart against me. Tears streaked Aaliyah's face as truth shattered the walls she had built for years. The air in Malik's penthouse turned electric as Aaliyah's confession hung between them. Malik's chest rose sharply, voice breaking. You left me bleeding over a lie. Aaliyah's tears fell freely. I thought you chose money. I thought I wasn't enough. His fists clenched at his sides, fury and heartbreak colliding. You were everything, he growled. I built all this trying to forget, but I never could. She stepped forward, trembling. Then why does it hurt more now than it did then? Their eyes locked, years of silence crumbling into raw fire, neither could hide. Malik took a shaky step closer, his voice a whisper edged with fire. I never betrayed you, Aaliyah. Derek stole us both. She swallowed hard, her hands trembling. I wasted years hating you, Malik. Years I can't get back. His throat tightened as he reached for her cheek, but she turned away, torn between longing and fear. Every time you touch me I forget who I am, she confessed. Malik's voice dropped to a desperate growl. Then let me remind you of who you are, with me. The air throbbed with heat, both hearts pounding like war drums. Aaliyah's breath quickened as she pushed his hand away, her voice sharp through tears. You don't get to rewrite history, Malik. You don't get to decide for me. Malik staggered back, the rejection cutting deeper than any blade. I'm not rewriting, I'm begging, he said, his voice raw. Begging for the truth to matter. She shook her head, her curls trembling. Truth doesn't heal scars. Truth doesn't erase the nights I cried alone. Malik's chest heaved, fury breaking his tone. Then tell me what will erase it, Aaliyah. Tell me, because I'll burn this empire down for you. The room fell silent after his outburst, the city's glow flickering like fire against the glass. Aaliyah's voice softened, barely a whisper. I wanted to believe in us again, but I don't know how to trust you. Malik's shoulders slumped, his strength unraveling. Then trust me with your pain, he pleaded. Her lips parted, eyes searching his face for something real. She whispered, You still love me. His voice cracked. I never stopped. Tears blurred her vision as her walls began to crumble. Suddenly, the door burst open. Derek stormed in, his voice sharp. She doesn't belong here, Malik. Both turned, shock freezing them. Malik's fury ignited as he stepped toward him. You stole her once, you want again. Derek smirked, venom in his tone. You think she'll forgive you that easily? Aaliyah's eyes widened, her voice trembling. You destroyed us, Derek. For the first time, guilt flickered in his stare, but arrogance drowned it. Malik growled. Leave now, or I'll bury you with your lies. The tension exploded, 3 lives colliding in a storm of rage, love, and betrayal. The confrontation left the air heavy, Derek storming out with venom still lingering in the room. Malik leaned against the glass wall, his chest heaving as though every truth had been torn open. Aaliyah stood frozen, the echo of Derek's poison still in her ears. All this time, she whispered, I carried his lies as if they were mine. Malik turned to her, his face raw with pain and love. And I carried the weight of losing you. The silence stretched, filled with years of unshed words. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. What if I can't forgive myself for leaving? Malik's hand hovered in the air, shaking as he said, Then let me forgive us both. Tears spilled as her body softened, the storm inside them finally breaking. The next morning, the sun spilled into the penthouse, painting everything in gold. Malik sat on the couch, his eyes hollow yet alive. Aaliyah stood by the window, watching the city wake. Her voice was soft, almost fragile. I don't know if love can survive what we've done to it. Malik leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. Love is the only reason I'm still breathing. She turned, her curls catching the light, her face marked by exhaustion and yearning. I'm afraid, Malik, she whispered. His eyes lifted, filled with both plea and strength. So am I. But maybe being afraid means we still care enough to try. The truth sat between them, sharp and beautiful. Later that day, Malik took Aaliyah to the old basketball court where they spent their teenage summers. The chain nets rattled in the breeze, the place worn yet alive with memories. This was where we dreamed out loud, Malik said quietly. Aaliyah traced her fingers across the faded paint, her voice trembling. We promise forever here. He stepped closer, the sun casting shadows across his face. And forever got stolen from us, but maybe it's still here, waiting. Aaliyah's eyes shimmered, torn between hope and fear. I don't know how to rebuild what's broken. Malik's hand brushed hers. One piece at a time. The silence of the court carried their unspoken longing. That evening, Aaliyah sat with Maya again, her voice breaking as she spoke. He never betrayed me. Derek lied and I let him. Maya's face softened, tears welling. You carried pain that was never yours. Aaliyah nodded, her body trembling. But now I don't know if I can trust myself with Malik again. Maya reached across the table, gripping her hands tight. Trust isn't about never breaking. It's about choosing to heal together. Aaliyah's heart cracked open, her sister's words striking deep. She whispered, "What if it all falls apart again?" Maya's smile was soft, yet firm. Then at least you'll know you tried with truth, not lies. Back at the penthouse, Malik waited by the window, watching the night consume the city. When Aaliyah entered, his breath caught. She stood still, her eyes steady yet filled with storms. "If I stay," she whispered, "it has to be as equals, not me in your shadow." Malik's chest tightened as he stepped closer, his voice low but certain. "Then stand beside me, Aaliyah. Let's fight the world together." Tears welled in her eyes as her body trembled. She reached out, her hand sliding into his, fragile yet powerful. "I'm terrified," she admitted. Malik's voice cracked as he answered, "So am I. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you." The following evening, Malik and Aaliyah walked together along the riverbank, the city glowing like a crown behind them. Their steps were slow, their silence heavier than words. Malik finally said, "All my life I thought power could protect me from pain, but the truth is, nothing ever shielded me from losing you." Aaliyah's breath hitched as she whispered, "And I thought walking away would save me, but it only broke me deeper." They stopped, their reflections trembling in the dark water. Malik turned, his voice thick with longing. "If this is our second chance, it will be the last." Aaliyah's lips trembled, her heart pounding. "Then, let's not waste it." The next day, Malik faced a boardroom filled with investors, their eyes sharp with expectation. Yet his mind was miles away. He spoke firmly, "This company means nothing if I can't live with myself." Whispers rippled across the polished table. Jordan, sitting near the back, gave a faint nod of support. Malik continued, his voice unwavering. "Money built these walls, but love is what gives me breath." Some men frowned, others smirked, but Malik didn't care. As he walked out of the room, leaving shock in his wake, he whispered to himself, "She's my empire now." Meanwhile, Aaliyah stood in her apartment, packing the last of her belongings into a worn suitcase. Maya watched silently from the couch, her eyes heavy with sadness. "You're really going back to him," she said softly. Aaliyah paused, her voice steady but full of vulnerability. "I'm going forward to myself." She zipped the bag and looked at her sister. "For once, I'm choosing love without fear." Maya hugged her tightly, whispering, "Then make it count." Aaliyah closed her eyes, the weight of years lifting, replaced by fragile hope. At sunset, Malik waited at the basketball court, the place where their love once bloomed. He bounced the ball slowly, his eyes scanning the fading horizon. When Aaliyah appeared, suitcase in hand, his breath caught. "You came," he whispered. She smiled faintly, tears brimming. "I came home." He dropped the ball, rushing forward, pulling her into his arms. For a long moment, the world was silent, except for their hearts pounding in unison. "I'll never let lies steal us again," Malik said fiercely. Aaliyah pressed her forehead against his, whispering, "Then hold me through the truth." Later that night, back in Malik's penthouse, the city lights burned like eternal fire outside. Aaliyah stood at the window, her reflection merging with his as he stepped behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "We're scarred," she whispered. Malik's lips brushed her temple as he murmured, "Scars prove we survived." Her eyes closed, tears slipping free, but her smile trembled with truth. "Then let's survive together." The silence stretched, not empty but full, heavy with everything they had lost, and everything they had found again. The night sealed them in fragile, fierce love, their forever reborn.